from a certain standpoint, it sounds like Iowa's situation. I don't know if you've noticed this, Cam, and nobody can care in the chat, but Iowa's on a pace, and I understand it's only 2 games, but they haven't played Michigan, Ohio State. They've played North Dakota, not North Dakota State. They're the perennial champions. They played North Dakota, an FCS team, and Iowa State, a decent defense, decent team. And they are putting up like historic ineptitude offensively. And this is a team. So I did a breakdown and looked at it. I looked at it during the offseason and set everybody up for what was about to take place this season. They have not ranked in the top. And this is a team that when you put together with the special teams and the defense, which those guys must be pulling their hair out and how this doesn't cause dissension in the locker room, I don't know. This has been going on for years. They went to the Big Ten championship game last year with the 123rd ranked offense in the country. I don't know how you do that and go 10-3 and finish in the top 15 in the country, but they do it year after year. I had to go back to 2006 to find a top 50 offense in the country.
Sheesh.
They've been in the 90s, 110 range most seasons in the last 15 years. And they're finishing 15th, 20th in the country because, like, how do you operate like that? And so some Iowa fans come to the defense of the program to say, well, we're going 10-3, so that's good enough. Well, can you imagine having a company where, let's say, you got an accounting department, a technology department, a sales department, and 2 of them are just crushing it, but your technology sucks. So, they're going offline every 13 minutes and they can't do their job and not do anything about it. Have a marginal quarterback. And this has been the year of the transfer portal. And they didn't go out and get anybody.
Well, I mean, you got the other thing that we were dealing with before of that nepotism because Kirk Ferentz's son, Brian, is the offensive coordinator. And I don't know if you've seen this, but people have been duping Cameo creators to send messages to Brian Ferentz. They had Bob Stoops, and they even got Kirk Ferentz himself, so the dad, the head coach, to read this letter. It's like, you buy the little shout out on Cameo or whatever, and you send them the script, and it's just like, hey, Brian, you had a rough couple years, but you're there with the family business, and it's just not going the way that you want. But sometimes you find your path, or sometimes you need to make a change. And they literally had Bob Stoops do one, and they had Kirk Ferentz himself read this same script under this guise that they was to their friend named Brian, but it was completely about his son, Brian Ferentz, just leaving the Iowa offense in the mud, which is, look, they scored 7 points and won a game and did not score a touchdown. 2 safeties and a field goal for their 7.
Their field goal drive was 5 yards. So
that's right, because they got a turnover because their defense is incredible.
Their touchdown drive this last week was 15 yards. That was their touchdown drive for their first touchdown of the season. It's unbelievable how you would think just mathematical probabilities that you would be better than 121 if you were 121 last year in total offense. That with the South Alabamas and the Western Kentucky and all these teams out there, that you have so much more talent than you would but by just handing the ball off and throwing play action passes, that you would just fall into it.
But at some point, it's by design. It's by intentional scheme. You know what I mean? And I think that we're at that point with Iowa where it's not by happenstance. No, this is not a glitch in the matrix. This is the function of the program. This is doing what it was designed to do. I wouldn't say intended, because offensive football is intended to move the ball and score points, but it was what they have designed it to do. It has done. No, Miami is not in that place on offense, but in terms of explosive plays, we need more.
All right, folks, last chance for any comments, questions that you would like to bring to the table. Otherwise, we will, of course, see everybody back here next Wednesday night. We've got another Miami Live coming up with a wholesome one on Thursday night. I was desperately attempting to get a Texas A&M media person on here at some point this week to give the A&M side.
They've been ducking people. We were supposed to do a collaboration, 2 different collaborations with Good Bull Hunting, and both of them we got ghosted for. So I don't know. In terms of, I like the ball control offense. All right, bro. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. But if that efficiency slips, and it's the couple of drives where you don't have a successful first down run, so you don't gain 50% of your yards, so you're not at 2nd and 5 or shorter, and then you get a false start or somebody drops a ball, or and then you need to make a throw. You got to move the ball. First of all, who are you throwing it to? Second of all, what kind of scheme are you employing to throw it to your intended targets? Controlling the ball is fine, but you got to score points, bro. You got to score points.
Not to drag this back into the Iowa situation, because I don't even think Miami should be in this conversation because of the level of athlete in South Florida and in other locales that Miami's going after. I just don't even think, you want to be efficient. You don't want to be like throwing the ball, shooting from the hip, like let's turn the ball over like 14 times a game just because we're going to be No, not careless and not playing to a game situation. You're up 21 points with 10 minutes left. You don't need to be, don't be the Atlanta Falcons with a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. And then afterward, when you're answering questions, say, well, that's how we play, that we were running our offense. Well, you can still run your offense, but run the play at 2 or 3 seconds on the play clock with the clock running, not at 25 seconds on the play. Like, it was mathematically figured out if the Atlanta Falcons, if the game would have went exactly the same, if they would have just run the play clock, there's no way they could have lost the Super Bowl. Like, don't be stupid.
And honestly, this balance, if you look back to that Notre Dame game from 2017, that was the balance of explosiveness and efficiency and in intellect in running the, clock down and everything that everybody would want to see, right? That first half, you have, screen throw to DJ Dallas that goes for 40 something. That's an explosive play. You have the Malik Rozier touchdown run, which is like 18 or something on a 2nd down play. That's an explosive play. You had DJ Dallas diving to the corner of the end zone on the other end zone. It was a short yardage because it was like within the 20, but that's an explosive play. You had the Trajan Bandy interception. I know that's defense, but that's an explosive play, right? What did we do in the second half? Throttle it down. They said, we're not going to let Malik Rozier throw this ball and ruin this for us. So we're going to run our offense. If it's a 2nd down and they're playing off coverage over there, we'll check to a little slant. Okay, cool. We'll do that. But every play, to Mark's point, we're going to look to the sideline, hang out. Okay, we're going to do the thing. We're going to look at read all 3 backup quarterbacks. We're going to read those signs that they're doing and everything there. They're okay, cool, looking like a baseball, coach. Cool. Get up to the line, 5, 4, 3, hut, and that's when we're going to run it. And that tempo went way down after earlier the tempo was up and we caught Notre Dame a little bit unawares. So again, even in that game right there, that shows the balance of efficiency and explosiveness. And when, to Mark's point, we had a game, in hand, instead of being stupid and running it at that same breakneck pace where, yes, you could make more mistakes, especially with the state of the game, right, and the scoreboard, we're going to now manage the game so we get out of here with a win. And that right there is kind of emblematic of what we're talking. If you remember, that 4th down throw up the sideline to Lawrence Cager was in that one where he mossed over a dude and he flexed on him. And everyone's like, who is Lawrence Cager? He doesn't make plays like this. And we threw the ball down the field with Malik Rozier on 4th down, and we didn't even think about coming off the field. And all of those kind of things come together. And that's what I'm talking about. And if you want to think back, go back and rewatch that game, especially first half versus second half, and disregard the Bandy interception because that was defense. But you'll see what I'm talking about. Yes, you're going to have some efficiency because we were just way better than Notre Dame that day, so we were able to get those things. But also hit the explosive play here and there which then changes the complexion of the game, because when you hit those explosive plays, then hopefully you're changing the scoreboard.
And one more comment from me on the ball control offense. Let's say you're a Wisconsin fan. Makes total sense. And the difference between what Wisconsin typically does and what I was failing to do is that every successful college football program / team should have an identity, something they hang their proverbial hat on. They have an identity. The difference is your off units that aren't the identity or the strength of the program should still be supporting the other units. They shouldn't be a detriment. They shouldn't have to be overcome by elite play on the other units. They should support. So Wisconsin, with the likes of, the zillion running backs we could name and the great offensive line, support the typically top 10 defense in the country.
Now, one of the best coordinators around, Jim Leonard.
But,
it's the whole football team has to be synergistic. It cannot, no component piece exists by itself. So the offense has to work in tandem with the defense. And then, obviously special teams, you want to have those things. Even Nick Saban realized you got to have be explosive in the passing game if you want to be a national championship contender. Thank you, Charles Johnson. That's all I'm saying. You have to be able to hit explosive plays to be a really top tier team. That's all I'm saying. And you don't have to even hit as many as Alabama or anything, but to this point of the season, explosiveness on offense has been non-existent for the Miami Hurricanes. And that's a major component that I'm going to be watching on Saturday night. That's it. And I hope that everybody proves me wrong. I hope that everybody proves y'all right. You're saying, Cam, you're stupid. You don't know ball. It's only been 2 games. We've been running vanilla offense. It's going to change. I hope that it does. I'll walk by faith and not by sight because I have not seen it. But I hope that I do, right? And hey, if Josh Gaddis is like all of these things, all of these schemes that, again, are listed in this piece, and I hope they go read it, all of them are in the playbook. All of them are in the script. Throughout, we've been working on them. We're getting back one of our better wide receivers in Jacoby George, probably should be top of the rotation guy. Tyler Van Dyke had a pretty bad game last week. He spent the extra time. He's going to get it together. Guys are going to continue not to drop passes, which has been great this year. I'm knocking on the wood of my desk so that we don't drop those or anything. But all those parts and pieces that people have been saying coming together, I would love to see that. And it would both support your point that, Cam, we just did vanilla offense and it's going to change, and mine that the explosiveness, while missing for whatever reason, needs to be present for Miami to be the kind of successful that they need to be.